I don't even know if I'm mad. I don't know if I'm mad, people. Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. Full time is just blown away at Molineux at Wolves in the Premier League. Chelsea versus Wolves, 0-0. And the last action of the game, what looked like to me, was Conor Cody fouling N'Golo Kante in the box, putting his studs on his foot to the point where Kante was on the floor. Should that have been a penalty? I don't know. Look, man, off the bat, I think Chelsea are out of the Premier League title race. I didn't want to say that definitely after Everton, but I think now it's just the case. I think it is, especially considering the opposition you're coming up against. It's not, 6 points, you could say, generally in the title race is doable with like a good few amount of games left. Not when you're going up against two relentless opponents in regards to Liverpool and City, who generally don't drop points. And when Chelsea look like we're not going to gain points. So you add those together, and sadly, I think that's the truth. We're going to talk about the situation, the lineup, the bench. Oh my god. Dismal times, ladies and gentlemen, but I'd still urge you guys to like the video, to help out your boy at least. That would be nice. And of course, you're all welcome to subscribe if you're new to the channel. So, yeah, away at Molineux, Chelsea requested to the Premier League that this game gets postponed because of more positive tests, and they've got half-fit players. They got rejected by the Premier League because they were able to name 14 negative players, so therefore they had to go ahead. Chelsea's bench was Saul Niguez, half-fit Kovacic, Malang Sarr, two goalkeepers in Arrizabalaga and Bettinelli, and Barkley. We started with a midfield pivot of Trevor Chalobah and N'Golo Kante. Alonso started at left wing back, and this was, in terms of Alonso's game, it was a game of two halves. We'll talk about that. James, right wing back, moved to right centre back later. He swapped with Azpilicueta, who obviously started at right centre back. Thiago Silva in the middle, Rudiger and the left. And the front three, in terms of quality, wasn't that bad. Pulisic, Mount, and Ziyech. I think it was okay. Obviously, sub-appearances from both Kovacic and Saul, which we'll talk about in just a moment. So we had to play this game. We're coming up against pretty much a full-strength Wolves team. I don't think they've got any notable injuries. I don't think they've got any a positive test. They're at home, and prior to this game, Wolves had conceded 4 goals in 7 games, and that includes the likes of playing, I think, both Liverpool and Man City. They just conceded 1 goal to them, so we were always going to be a massive uphill task against a ridiculously good defensive team. And a good goalkeeper, of course, who I think had a really good game. Certainly, he made an excellent save against Pulisic. I think Pulisic maybe should have done a little bit better when he was put through. Did really good work to keep hold of the ball and get a shot off, but he just sort of put it. He didn't have much to aim at, and it was a good save from Jose Sarr. But yeah, it was. I don't know, man. Honestly, I think they defended really, really well, Wolves. And Chelsea just aren't clicking in attack at the moment. We don't have any of our recognised strikers, all of which have been misfiring in their own way. Lukaku, Timo Werner, and Kai Havertz. So we don't have a striker. We don't have Ruben. We don't have Jorginho. Don't have Ben Chilwell still. It's not the end of the world. So we start this game. We get 2 relatively early bookings, Trevor Chalobah and Antonio Rudiger. And I'm thinking it's going to be one of those days. They had a goal ruled for offside. And it went in, I just thought, this is happening again, isn't it? In the first half, we didn't have what we've had recently in terms of playing really, really well. Looked like we're cooking, great attacking, combinational play. We didn't have that early doors, which usually means for me, all right, maybe we'll win this game because we don't have that curse of starting really well and then drawing 1-1 like we seem to do on all these games recently. In fact, they scored, it was offside, and, we didn't really, it was kind of like a stalemate in the first half. And let's talk about player performances in the first half that I noted. So, mainly want to talk about, Pulisic missed chances. And I don't want to slate Pulisic, because for me, he shouldn't be playing false 9, and it just doesn't work for him. He can't win, I know a false 9 is not going to win aerial duels and stuff, but we're throwing the ball up to him like that. So you could say it's largely how we play. Fine, but if it's how we play, do not play Pulisic as a false 9. Granted, in this situation, we didn't really have much of a choice. You know, Barkley would have had a better frame should he be like versed in that position, which I don't think he is. In that first half, Alonso dropped a disaster class. He obviously gave away a free header. He just sort of like in the box, some awful defensive display in that first half. And also there was a moment when we were really finally doing some good attacking play around the 18-yard box, and he just chests it to an opposition player and breaks down the attack for Chelsea. And I tweet about it and say, look, I know there's no alternative at the moment, you know, whatever, and I don't like digging players out, but this is really, really poor. And, you know, we get in at half-time, 0-0, and I've never enjoyed a half so less that I can remember, certainly, that, you know, that we were in the game, you know, and it's Chelsea playing, you know, and we're not losing, and I never, because it was just really foggy, and I just really, like, unpleasant, really poor watching. And then at half-time, Saul Niguez comes on to play in the midfield, and at this point I'm just, you know, testing me. It's absolutely testing me, and I'm certain Chelsea fans watching this video would have felt the same. Like, oh my god, this is not what we need right now. But credit to Saul, I think he did good. He did one high-profile mistake where he turned over possession and they ran through, but Thiago Silva mopped up, who for me was man of the match, for us anyway. Other than that, Saul sort of got hold of midfield a little bit, and not far later, 15 minutes into the second half, Ziyech came off. It looked like he had an injury actually, and Mateo Kovacic came on to sort of join the midfield. It became a sort of 3-5-2 with just Mount and Pulisic playing up front together. They're so compact, Wolves, that we really went for the wing-backs whips. And then obviously Reece James went to right centre-back to deal with the pace of Adama Traore when he came on in the last sort of 10-12 minutes or whatever. So we had that switch, and then, you know, it's just something a little bit different. And I think Mount was probably our best attacker on the day. Made some good runs, did some good work, and then in a couple of occasions undid his good work by poor balls by his standards. So he'll be upset with that, I imagine. But in terms of like the defensive play, I think Rudiger was good. He didn't offer much going forwards, but he didn't need to. I think he was intelligent with his defending. Obviously, annoying that he got that card. Thiago Silva, magnificent. He's throughout this turbulent time of Chelsea's form, there's been one constant, and that's just been Thiago Silva's form. Just, you know, he's just a titan, isn't he? He's an absolutely experienced legend that just doesn't really dip form. So superb from him. Azpilicueta was fine. Reece James was okay. He combined well in the, you know, in certain moments in the first half and the second half, but no difference making really. Kante was great. The positives with this was we saw Kante back in the midfield. Kante looked really good for me. And we saw Mateo Kovacic come back and complete a really impressive dribble. I know I'm clutching at straws here, but this is the kind of stuff that you want to see. You want to from that player. It's a bad result ultimately, but we haven't lost. We haven't conceded. And if you consider like the situation against a full strength side that doesn't concede goals, and we're decimated. It's underwhelming, it's frustrating, but really it's just the situation and where we're at the moment. So it is what it is, friends. Let me know what you guys think, though. Comment, drop a like, subscribe. Usually a lot happier. If you do choose to sub, make sure all notifications are turned on via clicking the bell, all notes. And yeah, friends, we move. It's, you know, it is what it is. I said, like, I think I tweeted out yesterday or the day before, I can't remember. I'm okay with Thomas Tuchel not winning the Premier League in his first full season, having already won us the Champions League and Super Cup. We could still win the Club World Cup, another cup this season. Do you know what I mean? And he'd have an excellent start at Chelsea, provided, you know, we finish in the top 4 or whatever. So it is what it is, friends. Try not to be super pissed off about it, but we move. So try to enjoy the football, and I'll see you later.